What makes two characters feel like family? Steve and Dustin do their elaborate routine. Lightsaber sounds, synchronized gestures, pure joy. Robin watches and asks, "How many children are you friends with?" We feel the chemistry instantly, that invisible spark that makes us believe these two people genuinely matter to each other. Enter the most unlikely pairing in Stranger Things, Steve Harrington and Dustin Henderson. In any other 80s movie, Steve stuffs Dustin in a locker. The jock torments the nerd. It's the natural order.
I don't want to fight you, Flash.
I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
But Stranger Things asks a different question. What if they desperately need each other? Compare this to shows like Big Time Rush or any Disney Channel series, where the cool older friend exists purely to validate the young protagonist. The older character never changes, never grows, never struggles. They're a wish fulfillment prop, not a person. That's why those bonds feel hollow. Stranger Things does something smarter. It makes both characters emotionally homeless. Season 2, Episode 6. Steve's world just collapsed. Nancy chose Jonathan over him.
We killed Barb?
You're pretending like we didn't kill Barb.
I don't care, because I'm bull.
Bullshit.
Our whole relationship is bull.
Bullshit.
And pretty much everything's just bullshit.
You don't love me?
Bullshit.
Oh yeah, also, you don't love me.
Meanwhile, Dustin's looking for his friends, but they're all too busy. Mike's obsessed with Eleven, Lucas is with Max, Will is possessed by the Mind Flayer. Neither Steve nor Dustin is looking for friendship, but both are desperately alone. Dustin shows up at the Wheeler house, where Steve is trying to apologize to Nancy, holding flowers like an idiot. But Nancy's already gone, so Dustin commandeers him. He doesn't ask for a favor. He offers Steve a distraction from his heartbreak. He demands a ride, but what he's really saying is, "I have a mission, and I need a partner." People bond deepest when they complete each other. One carries the strength, one carries the missing piece. They head to Dustin's basement where Dart escaped, stock up on raw meat and Steve's nail bat, and head out to the junkyard to lure the Dimmadog. But something happens along the way that changes everything. Walking the train tracks, distributing chunks of meat, Steve does something unexpected.
Fabergé.
What?
Use the shampoo and the conditioner, and when your hair's damp, you do 4 puffs of the Ferric Fawcett spray.
He starts teaching Dustin his hair routine. He's treating his styling tips like state secrets, because in 1980s high school, they are. Steve's hair is legendary. It's his power source, and he's giving the exact formula to a 13-year-old nerd who's never kissed a girl. Steve's hair routine becomes the symbol of belonging. He's not just teaching Dustin how to style hair. He's saying, "You're worthy of my secrets. You belong to the grown-up world now." Dustin is being seen for the first time as someone worthy of respect from the coolest guy in Hawkins. The junkyard fight demonstrates their dynamic perfectly. Steve has strength, swinging the nail bat protecting the kids. Dustin has intelligence, calling strategy, reinforcing the bus. Separately, they're incomplete. Together, they're one working unit. When Steve gets knocked down, Dustin screams warnings.
Steve! Aboard! Aboard!
When Dustin panics, Steve's calmness grounds him. But it's the snowball where their bond crystallizes. Steve drives Dustin to the dance, fixes his hair one more time, and gives him the final push. He looks him in the eye.
You look like $1 million.
Yeah.
And you're gonna slam dead. Don't do that.
Fatherly, brotherly, something Dustin's never had. When Dustin eventually dances with Nancy, it's because Steve's foundation holds. Steve made him believe he belonged in that gymnasium. Season 3 confirms the shift. Dustin returns from Camp Nowhere excited about his radio tower project, but the moment it gets boring, his childhood friends abandon him on that hill. They walk away. So, where does he go? Straight to Steve at Scoops Ahoy. He doesn't chase Mike or Lucas. He goes to the one person who actually has time for him. When your old friends stop listening, you run to the person who actually sees you.
Henderson. Got the job! Got the job!
His face lights up, genuine joy. Then comes the handshake, their elaborate routine with lightsaber sounds, finger guns, synchronized moves. Steve thinks Star Wars is just the one with the teddy bears, but he memorized every gesture and sound effect Dustin taught him. Steve values Dustin's interests enough to participate even when he doesn't share them. And they do this in public, in the middle of Starcourt Mall, where Steve's friends from high school might see. Season 1, Steve would never be caught dead acting nerdy. But now, his social capital is invested in this friendship, not public opinion. Complete transformation. Later in the Russian elevator descending into darkness, Dustin makes a crucial choice. Steve demands everyone step back so he can examine the mysterious boxes, potential bombs. Dustin steps forward and refuses to leave his side. Total dependence. Dustin cannot imagine surviving without Steve. If Steve dies, so does Dustin's identity. Steve made him brave. When Steve finally knocks out that Russian guard with the telephone, Dustin screams,
You did it! You want to fight!
Dustin keeps Steve's fight record like a sports statistician. Jonathan beat him in season 1. Billy destroyed him in season 2. But finally, Steve wins. Dustin confirms the emotional victory. What brothers do?
So be the Henderson to my Harrington. Hit like to confirm the victory for this video, and subscribe so we can team up for the next one. We make a pretty good team.
Chemistry. Stage 3. When romance collapses. Honesty replaces attraction. Steve and Dustin's chemistry was built on recognition. Steve and Robin's chemistry is built on something different. The deepest kind of bond. The one that survives the death of romantic possibility. The common mistake is thinking chemistry requires romantic tension, sexual attraction. Will they, won't they? But the strongest bonds happen when you strip away the magnetic pull and replace it with pure honesty. Steve's transformation isn't complete. Not yet. Season 3, Episode 7. They're recovering from Russian truth serum, sitting on a grimy mall bathroom floor. Steve breaks the silence with a confession.
First of all, she's hilarious. She's so funny. And she's smart. Way smarter than me.
You know, she can crack like top secret Russian codes and,
You know, she's honestly unlike anyone I've ever even met before.
He's basically telling Robin he's in love with her without saying the words. The camera angles, the music, everything screams, kiss incoming. Robin takes a breath and stops him. But she's not rejecting him. She's correcting the narrative. She explains that her obsession with him in high school wasn't romantic. It was jealousy. She didn't want him. She wanted the girl who couldn't take her eyes off him.
About me being jealous, obsessed.
Yeah.
It's because she wouldn't stop staring at you.
Tammy Thompson's a girl.
Steve.
Oh.
In 1980s Indiana, this confession could destroy her. Being gay isn't just taboo, it's dangerous. But she trusts him enough to drop the mask. Steve processes it. You can see the wheels turning. Then he pivots. He doesn't freak out. He doesn't pull away.
She's a total dud.
She's not.
She's practically tone deaf. Have you heard her? She sounds like a wolf.
Steve validates Robin's humanity over her sexuality. He doesn't make it a gay moment. He makes it a friends making fun of a bad singer moment. Romance collapses. Honesty replaces attraction, and they become stronger, not weaker. Here's the genius of this scene. Robin doesn't say, "I'm not interested." She says, "I was interested in someone else." She's not delivering a rejection. She's correcting the story. That reframe changes everything. Steve isn't being turned down. He's being let in. By season 4, they function as one unit. Steve is actively helping Robin decipher if her crush is queer, analyzing pauses on a VHS tape, like a football coach watching game footage. He takes something that terrified her in season 3, her attraction to women, and completely normalizes it. He treats her queer attraction exactly like his straight attraction.
I like boobies. You like boobies. Vicky likes boobies.
The simplest math in the world. Two people helping each other navigate love. Steve now has two essential people. Dustin gives him purpose, the validation that he matters. Robin gives him honesty, the freedom to be himself. Together, they form his complete emotional ecosystem. King Steve is gone. Now, he's the babysitter, the best friend, the guy who shows up when you need him. And in a show about interdimensional horror, about kids dying and worlds ending, they carved out space for joy. The rejection tally at Scoops Ahoy, where they mark every time Steve gets shot down. The family video banter where they mock each other's taste in movies. Trauma bonds people fast because it's forced. You survive something terrible together. You're connected. But joy is a choice. They choose to make each other laugh in the apocalypse. They choose elaborate rituals that serve no survival purpose. That choice transforms friendship into family. But chemistry is volatile. Just when you create a stable compound, Steve, Dustin, Robin, the universe introduces a new element to test the bond, a catalyst that threatens to burn the whole thing down. Childhood chemistry is tested by danger. Adolescent chemistry is tested by honesty. But this bond faces the ultimate test, replacement. Season 4 introduces Eddie Munson. For the first time, Steve isn't the only cool older guy. Eddie is everything Steve isn't. Rebellious, a D&D master who speaks Dustin's language fluently. He calls Dustin by his last name, Henderson, the same way Steve does. He's charismatic, he's funny, he's dangerous, he's competition. Steve drives Dustin to Skull Rock and tries to play it cool, criticizing this new Eddie guy. But he's transparent. Dustin sees right through it. He calls Steve out for being jealous, that he finally has another older male friend. It cuts deep. Steve's entire identity is the protector, the guy Dustin needs. If Dustin has Eddie, what is Steve's purpose? What is his identity? Then something shifts. After the Dimmobat attack, Eddie reveals the truth. He tells Steve that
Henderson told me you were a badass. Insisted on the matter, in fact.
Wait, Henderson said that?
Oh yeah, shit. I don't even know why I care what that little shrimp thinks, but guess I got a little jealous, Steve. That Steve Harrington is actually a good dude.
Dustin's been championing Steve to Eddie, talking him up, making sure Eddie knows Steve is important. Steve realizes Eddie isn't replacing him. They serve different purposes. Eddie is the cool uncle who validates Dustin's cultural identity, his love of D&D, his nerdiness, his refusal to conform. Eddie tells him he doesn't need to change to be confident. But Steve is the parent who makes sure Dustin gets home safe, who teaches him how to talk to girls, who shows him how to survive in the real world. Eddie offers adventure. Steve offers safety. Dustin needs both. And then, in the final episode, Eddie dies in Dustin's arms. In his final moments, Eddie asks for validation.
I didn't run away this time, right?
No. You didn't run.
He needs to know he stood his ground. Dustin has to hold him while he fades screaming and reassuring him that he's a hero. Something in Dustin shatters. Season 5 shows the aftermath. Dustin's wearing Eddie's Hellfire shirt like armor. His hair is grown out. His eyes are haunted. And when Steve tries to minimize Eddie's sacrifice, dismissing it as a dumb call to play hero, the dam breaks.
What did Eddie do? He charged into a swarm of killer bats.
To save my life.
Eddie wanted to play hero, and he made a dumb call, and he got himself killed.
Dustin explodes. Not an argument, a physical fight. He screams the reality. Steve wasn't there to see that Eddie saved his life, while Steve was nowhere to be found. Steve, stunned, finally realizes the truth. He's been jealous of a ghost. He hasn't been there for Dustin's grief because he was too busy protecting his own ego. While Dustin was drowning in guilt, Steve was nursing wounded pride. Steve finally drops the mask. He admits the pathetic, heartbreaking truth. He wasn't angry.
I miss my best friend.
Yeah, I miss my best friend too.
They hug. Not the cruel handshake hug, the desperate, clingy embrace of two people who realize how close they came to losing each other forever. As they gear up for the final fight, Steve says it.
You die, I die.
You die, I die.
If you die, I die. Dustin answers with the callback that defines their entire arc. You see why Eddie's death had to happen in Dustin's arms. Recognition chemistry is tested by replacement, and the ultimate test is whether the original bond survives the loss of the competitor. Dustin became brave because Steve Harrington believed he belonged in the fight. Steve became a hero because Dustin Henderson needed him to be one. Recognition transforming identity. Adolescence teaching vulnerability, learning to be seen, learning to see others, learning that you can hold space for multiple people without diminishing any of them. Chemistry. Stage 4. Broken people rebuild each other. Children bond through survival. Adolescents bond through recognition. But adults face a different challenge entirely. Adults don't discover each other, they repair each other. Childhood chemistry is about surviving together. Adolescent chemistry is about being seen. But adult chemistry is different. Broken people don't fall in love. They rebuild each other. They bond through repair. When it works, love becomes shelter. And eventually, when the danger ends, that love transforms into something quieter. Chaos becomes calm. Pain becomes peace. Enduring love lives in silence. This is Jim Hopper 11 and Joyce Byers. Hopper lost his daughter Sarah to cancer. Joyce lost her boyfriend Bob to the upside down. 11 spent her childhood as a lab weapon. People with gaping holes in their souls. Season 2, Episode 4. Hopper is screaming at 11 about safety.
And all I ask of you is that you follow 3 simple rules. You can't even do that!
I hate you!
I'm not too crazy about you either. You know why? Because you're a brat.
The subtext is heartbreaking. He is terrifyingly aware that the world is dangerous, and he is powerless to stop it.
Wanna go out in the world? Grow the hell up!
11 doesn't hear the protection. She hears the cage. She shatters every window in the cabin with her mind and screams back the only truth she knows.
You lie!
Two traumatized people, screaming, unable to communicate. Hopper defaults to rage, fear masked as control. He couldn't stop Sarah's cancer, but he can control Eleven's environment. He's building a cage disguised as protection. 11 defaults to force, because it's the only language she learned in the lab. So when Hopper uses the same tactics, isolation, rules, anger, she responds the only way she knows how, with violence. Their broken patterns match each other. Hopper uses control because he fears loss. 11 uses force because she fears cages. Same wound, different weapons. But Season 2 establishes their ritual, Hopper bringing Egos home. They eat together in silence. These meals are apologies. They are the I love you that neither of them knows how to say. Hopper is providing the stability 11 never had. 11 is teaching Hopper that love doesn't have to end in loss, that he deserves a second chance. Then comes the Season 3 finale. Joyce finds the crumpled speech in Hopper's uniform, the one he wrote for 11 but never had the courage to say. She hands it to her months later. In that letter, Hopper finally drops the anger. He confesses that he tried to turn back the clock. He admits that he kept the door closed not to punish her, but to stop time.
For the sake of your poor old dad, door open 3 inches.
To keep her safe in a moment where he couldn't get hurt again. But he acknowledges that life moves forward. He gives her permission to grow, to make mistakes, and to leave the cave he built for her. From jailer to father, from trying to control death to trusting life. He's letting her go emotionally. When they finally reunite at the ruined cabin in Hawkins, they don't need a speech. She stands there with a shaved head, traumatized, looking nothing like the little girl in the pink dress. But Hopper doesn't look away. He pulls her in. He loves her for the soldier she is, not the ghost he wanted her to be. But Hopper's healing isn't complete without Joyce. In Season 1, everyone in Hawkins thinks Joyce is insane. They say she's hysterical, seeing things, grieving, wrong. But Hopper breaks into a government morgue and cuts open a fake body just to prove she's right.
Will's body was a fake.
That is the deepest form of intimacy. When the whole world gaslights you, he hands you the match. He didn't fall in love with her because she was easy to love. He fell in love with her because she was the only other person seeing the truth. Season 4 flips it. Joyce becomes the rescuer, flying halfway around the world with Murray and a blowtorch to break Hopper out of a Russian prison. The kiss in the prison changing room, desperate, overdue, survival mode, covered in blood and grime and prison stink. That's what makes it real. They already were in love. They're just finally admitting it. After all the screaming at 11, all the danger, all the rescues, chaos becomes calm. Pain becomes peace. They've earned the right to exist in silence together, to share cigarettes on the cabin porch without needing to fill the air with words, to just be. They didn't just survive the upside down. They rebuilt each other. Trauma cracked them open, but they used those broken pieces to become complete. Stranger Things shows us what happens when broken people become each other's shelter. Jung was right. The meaning of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. Steve, Dustin, Robin, Hopper, 11, they didn't just touch. They reacted. They burned. And in the end, they were all transformed.
The chemistry in Hawkins is special, but the party doesn't end here. If you love dissecting great storytelling, from sitcoms to cinema, your next deep dive is on screen now. Click there. Thanks for watching and take care of yourself.